It's your returning champion, Elgintensity, aka Vivek Trapaswamy, and all of this is Zyahna Bryant, a body positivity and BLM activist who partnered with Dove Soap to promote fat liberation in one of the fattest countries in the world. It would have made more sense for someone her size to work with the chocolate brand, because that's the only kind of Dove bar that can easily reach every part of her body. This partnership has caused many to boycott Dove products, which is reminiscent of the response to Bud Light earlier this year after it sponsored a trans TikToker. In this case, however, the spokesperson's under fire for lying about a woman, not for lying about being one. On July 17, 2020, UVA student Morgan Bettinger drove home from work near downtown Charlottesville and saw a dump truck blocking the road ahead, a job normally reserved for Bryant. When Bettinger got out of her car to investigate, she chatted with the truck driver and thanked him for blocking that busy street, saying that those people would have been speed bumps otherwise. She repeated herself so that the driver could hear over the sound of Bryant's tummy, took a picture, and walked back to her car. The protest then turned mostly peaceful as the crowd swarmed Bettinger's car and yelled obscenities at her. Bryant later waddled up to the car and someone exclaimed that Bettinger said that they'll make good speed bumps. They might as well have accused her of screaming, "This is speed bump country." The protesters took that as a threat because a car fatally struck Heather Heyer at the Unite the Right rally that was held a few blocks away in 2017. Even Bryant was terrified of the potential frontal assault despite being built like Bonsai Bill, who's vulnerable from above. Bryant tweeted about this incident, which went viral and caught local journalists' attention, and the group that organized the protest accused Bettinger of threatening them, a claim that one could easily debunk by watching Bryant's footage. Countless brainlets accepted a claim with visual evidence to the contrary, which is like believing Tess Holliday that fat bodies are beautiful. Holliday looks like a melted candle here and it isn't even lit yet. UVA's student-run disciplinary committee found Bettinger guilty despite not disputing her story because she compared people to speed bumps in disregard for Charlottesville's violent history, namely the aforementioned rally. It's a good thing she didn't say that the protesters could get piled up like khaki legs. Two separate investigations ended in support of Bettinger's account, but these results didn't come out until about a year later. By then, her reputation was destroyed because her side of the story was overshadowed. Now that Bryant has a Dove deal, Bettinger probably gets PTSD whenever she has to pick up some soap, just like Cali Muscle.
My belief is that we should be centering the voices and experiences of the most marginalized people and communities at all times.
Bryant should promote blood pressure medication next. She could lisp in a reel for lisinopril. Nobody who can ruin an innocent woman's life, get exposed for it, and get off scot-free is truly marginalized. She might look like a young doughboy from Boys in the Hood, but she never felt the consequences of her actions like he did.
So when I think about what fat liberation looks like to me, it looks like centering the voices and the experiences of those who live in and who maneuver through spaces and institutions in a fat body.
Obese people are at all levels of society. We don't need to center their voices. They need to center the needles on physicians' scales. Also, Bryant maneuvered her academic institution just fine by playing the University Justice Committee like a flute.
It looks like making accessible spaces and having conversations that are aware of the fact that people have different bodies and that they are interacting with space and people and institutions and communities in a different way.
I still have no idea what Bryant has to do with soap, aside from doing someone dirty and coming out clean. A soap brand would be better off using that big heifer for tallow.
Fat liberation looks like fully embracing those differences and having those conversations instead of shying away from them.
Imagine being her doctor, seeing what she did to someone over a harmless comment, and shying away from the conversation about how maybe the real speed bumps were the plaque her arteries built up along the way.
To learn more about fat liberation and the campaign for size freedom that Dove is supporting, visit dove.com/size freedom. Tap in, join the campaign, support the campaign. This is important and we should all be talking about it.
Unilever, which owns the Dove soap brand, could have picked someone who didn't resemble and embody the poop emoji, but it didn't know or care about Bryant's hoax. It just wants to fatten people up with its desserts, then sell them the soap that they'll need more of once they're big and sweaty. Unilever is playing a game of 4D hungry hippos. Amid the backlash and boycotts, the Dove Butterball Turkey has supposedly received online threats, though her IG comment sections are limited, unlike her calories. A GoFundMe that Bryant's cousin organized on her behalf has raised over $10,000 to keep her safe. Her cousin must have meant to keep in her safe because there's no mention of a security plan on the fundraiser page. That cash won't go far if she hires personal security guards, especially if they charge by the ton. It does mention one of her earliest attempts at activism though. At 15, she petitioned to take down the Robert E. Lee statue and rename Lee Park in Charlottesville. The statue was taken down in July 2021. In other words, Bryant eliminated a grown man and a horse at something other than a pie-eating contest. Then she parlayed ruining a college student's reputation into ruining a soap company's, though I'm sure that one of Unilever's 1,000 other brands can pick up the slack. In the 3 years since the speed bump fiasco, Bryant hasn't conducted any smear campaigns against anyone and seems focused on the obesity grift. She already resembles Huell Babineau. Now she wants her pile of money to resemble Heisenberg's. Many will fall for her rhetoric, but the only way being obese liberates you is by freeing you from this mortal coil sooner. If Bryant doesn't start losing some serious weight, then she'll be stuck in a room with a beeping device, and I don't mean her smoke detector. Like the video and subscribe to the channel, now.
Everybody drugs their body sometime. Everybody tries the gear somehow.